guys, Joe and I want to share with you our experiences, our memories, and our impressions of this island of Kauai. We hope you enjoy this video as much as we did in the making of it.
Okay, here we are, sitting on a beautiful balcony in the fifth floor of the Marriott Resort, overlooking the pool and the beach area out there. Weather is gorgeous. It's right now just a few clouds moved in, but other than that, they move out. If you don't like the weather, just hang around 10 minutes and it changes for you.
Absolutely, it's perfect.
Temperature right now is about 74, 75 degrees. What more could we want?
Yes, and we're looking forward to a delightful day.
This is the pool area, which is quite large and has an island in the middle. It also has hot tubs over here, as you can see. Now, there are only two ways to get onto this island. Naturally, one is to swim to it, and the other one is to cross over the bridge. So Pat decided to cross over the bridge on this day. Now, also out there, you can see the beach area. After crossing over the bridge, Pat decided to sit down and enjoy the sun a while. Then she crawled into one of those little cabanas and waited for me to come. Hi, sweetheart. Here's your drink.
Oh, thank you.
You know why they put umbrellas on here, don't you?
Oh, yes, that's to keep the sun off of the drink.
Why?
Well, we have to keep the sun off the liquor or it will evaporate.
You're right. I always knew you
See
were
how smart? Yeah. Now you fall in here
Yep, I'm going in.
and you tumble and get yourself comfortable. Make sure your pants are. Okay.
Here we
And
are.
here we go.
Cheers, my dear.
Cheers. Whoops. There we go. Now is it rolling? Or is it?
Yes, I definitely is not.
It's rolling.
It's rolling.
It's 151 run.
Then 151 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Strawberry.
Take a couple of these and we'll be rolling in the front.
Oh, we sure will. Yep.
Okay. Beautiful.
Mm.
The sun goes, the clouds come in and they go out and it's overcast and it's bright. What else could you ask?
And the little bit of mist that's coming down from the air is overhead is keeping us dry from that mist. Our first stop is the Waimea Canyon, where we spotted a beautiful double waterfall. We will then show a close-up of the waterfall. Note the wild erosion that has occurred over the many millions of years since the eruptions on this island.
And the coloration of this stone, it's unbelievable. I mean, it looks great on the film here, but it's you can't really capture it like you can with your naked eye when you are present. To truly appreciate the beauty of this island, you have to get up in the air and look down. For the simple reason, from the roadways that they have, you can only see approximately 35% of this island. The other 65% can only be seen from up above. We're now in a helicopter flying towards the interior of the island, and it's really quite a view from up here.
This is the famous waterfall featured in the original Jurassic Park movie.
Kauai is the land of waterfalls. No matter where you look, there's more. This waterfall is falling well over 800, maybe 1,000 feet high. And there's another one that's falling just as far. Every place you look, there are waterfalls. We're now back where we started, the first waterfall in Waimea Canyon. That's just another view of it.
You know, Joe, we're getting very close and personal to the edge of these cliffs.
Why, are you getting a little nervous?
Yes, I am.
Oh, look, you're sitting right next to him. Look at him. Isn't he calm?
Well, yes, he is calm, and very intent.
But you know, he does this trips about 5 times a day. I think he should know what he's doing by now.
Well, all right. I guess I need to do the same.
Now, this is making me nervous. We're heading right at this cliff over here at about 75 miles an hour. And just before we get there, he turns his stick, makes a turn, and clears everything nicely.
We are now at the Princeville area where we are headed for Mount Waialeale, the wettest place on earth. We were greeted with this most beautiful rainbow.
And also we got rain. As you look in the canopy there, you'll see it starting to fall down. You know, we weren't disappointed. Now from here, we're going back to the airport. Now this was only an hour flight, but it was very, very good. It was great in all respects.
Now we are back at the Inner Gardens at the Marriott Hotel. And here's a view of the pavilion where people will either gather or for weddings or various occasions. We'll now walk through the garden. There is quite a bit of variety within the garden. We're coming up to another extensive area of the garden. There's quite a number of water and waterfalls within the garden. The koi fish.
Oh, look at that. There's a few koi fish in that pond too.
Yes, but it looks like they are at rest right now.
This is a swan. There are several types of swan. The snow white one that we're all familiar with, a total black one, and this one, which is a black neck swan, native to South America. The male grows to be about 25-26 pounds and with a wingspan of approximately 8 feet. The female looks exactly alike except she's just a little bit smaller. Every morning at 9 o'clock they feed the fish here. And for some strange reason, the fish know when 9 o'clock is. They all start to gather right here by the poolside waiting to be fed. Now, this guy is about to feed the fish. Watch what happens when the food hits the water. it becomes a feeding frenzy. Unbelievable. These things are just, the whole water is just alive with fish. You can also get food from the handlers here to hand feed the fish. And believe me, they'll come right up to you and eat right out of your hand. The kids particularly enjoy this. For them it's a big thrill to sit there and have a fish eat food which they're giving them. Now this lady over here is hand feeding the fish, and every now and then she gets an action out of this fish, which is more than what she expected. And over here they're really getting an action out of these fish. That one just went by, climbed all over everybody just to get away from there. So look at that, they just climb all over each other. We also have poolside performers in the evenings, and this particular night we had this guy singing, who is very pleasant to listen to, very nice music, and Pat and I really enjoyed this guy a lot, and we also enjoyed dancing to his music for a good long while in the evening. So there's always something going on in this complex, and we really enjoyed this place a lot. We're now ready to travel around this island and explore other things. And this is where our mode of transportation. This is General Motors' answer to the smart car. It's called the Chevy Spark. Well, at least it had 4 wheels and an engine, so we didn't have to push it. Well, we drove this thing all over this island for 7 days. And you know what? It only took 9 gallons of gas. Well, I can't complain about that. Today we're on our way to Princeville, and on our way up, this is the first falls that we come to. This is Opaka Falls. The water that supplies these falls comes from Mount Waialeale, the wettest place on earth. They get over 400 inches of rain per year. Now, in order to get that much rain, you have to rain over an inch per day, 365 days a year. But of course, the weather is not always stable, and some days it rains a lot, and other days it doesn't rain. So these falls vary in size from day to day, really, but depending on how much rain falls up on the top of the mountain. Some days they're very, very large, and other days they're a little skimpier. But today they seem to be doing very well, as you can see here.
Now we're at the lighthouse near Princeville, and as you see, it's open Tuesday through Friday. However, this is Monday, during which we cannot go into the lighthouse. But fortunately, we have a beautiful shot of that lighthouse and the surrounding area, including the nesting birds that live along the area, on the cliffs. We see them in the trees and in the bushes and in everywhere, all over. And they're all facing into the winds. Every single one that we were able to catch with a camera. The Waialehuia Church is a very, very early example of the Christian congregation that came to settle and teach the native population here. We go to the inside of the church to see its layout and the very beautiful, very lovely stained glass windows.
Not far from the church is this low-lying area which floods out. So they solved the problem by building the houses on stilts. From here we move on to the dry caves. And they're really quite large in size, as you will see when we get you inside. They're really quite nice and quite beautiful. Now this is the entrance when you're going in. As soon as you go in, you'll see the inside. It is quite deep and it's quite large all the way around. And as you'll see coming up, here's Pat, with her head almost touching the ceiling.
It is a very strange sensation to have the ceiling so close to your head.
Yeah, and this is looking out to the opening, and you can see how far in we really are. And right next to the dry caves is the wet cave. So you're seeing here, and you're seeing right now. You see the sign says here, falling rocks, leave area immediately. But I never believe what I read, and I crawl down to the cave.
And since he insisted on going forward and not leaving immediately, I said, give me the keys to the car.
Why? Are you already going to get stranded here?
Absolutely. And if I'm stranded, I won't have the photos that you are insisting on taking.
Well, but I can't get them unless I'm down here.
Well, that's true, but I won't have them.
We're now at the end of the road. This is as far as you can go by road. The simple reason this whole side of the island is nothing more than sheer cliffs. That's because several centuries ago they had a very massive earthquake and that whole part of the island broke off and fell into the ocean.
This is another shot of the beach and showing the erosion, the amount of erosion of the tree roots that have been so exposed to the elements.
And you know what? These trees seem to be surviving very nicely, even though the half of the tree roots are out of the ground.
It's a very dramatic scene.
And you'll see just how much of this is missing in the next shots when Pat goes over there and stands by him. There she is.
You see, the height of those roots where they stand originally.
They're above your head. We're now in the botanical gardens, and this is the first thing we came across, is beautiful peacock prancing in front of this nice hen, trying to attract her, and she shows absolutely no interest at all. She's totally ignoring him, just like a typical woman. Well, he struck out there, so now he sees a little bird walking, and he's trying to, I guess, invite her in. Oh, come on, buddy. Don't you know that these things are too small for you? Are you that desperate? Look out, Pat. He's now turning his interest towards you. He struck out with the hens. They don't want him. The birdies don't want him. Now he's going to try and get your attention.
Oh, this is quite flattering. I better keep an eye on him.
Oh, look at that. Look at him shake.
That's quite a show. My goodness. That is something special to see.
After leaving this guy, we walked up a pathway, and wouldn't you know it, Pat picked up another peacock who took a fancy to her. And he was dancing for her, prancing around her, doing all kinds of things.
Well, this created quite an interesting situation.
And you know what? He turns around, and this is what he gives me. He gives me his rear end, but he turns around and he gives Pat this beautiful front end view.
Well, we got quite a laugh from this.
Now that we got rid of the peacocks, we're going to take you to the rest of the garden. Because this garden is really quite large and it's really quite beautiful, as you will see. There's a beautiful lake with a nice fountain in the middle. and a nice bridge coming up to cross over to the other side.
The flowers that we see next have such beautiful variety of color and texture. This red flower is simply spectacular in its variety. This bridge leads us into an Asian area, which is very different. And here is another spectacular flower.
Well, Pat, you know, one flower over one here means you're taking, one flower over the other here means you're available. What does two flowers say?
Two flowers means that you're going to have to figure that one out yourself. Even the images in the water are very, very interesting. And the images looking out.
And here we're coming up on a bunch of nice, beautiful, colored flower. Look at the color of these things.
This is bougainvillea, the same that we have here in California.
And this one too, huh?
Yes, it is. This afternoon, we are headed on the Waialua River up toward the Fern Grotto. On our way, we saw this fellow paddling on his surfboard. And this girl doesn't want to stand up. She wants to sit down.
We have arrived at a destination where we get off the boat and we're going to have to hike into the Fern Grotto. And as you can see, it's a pretty rugged country.
It feels as if we are out in the middle of the jungle.
This is the entrance to the grotto. At one time, you used to be able to go right up and go into the cave. But because the rocks are unstable and they liable to fall at any time, you cannot do that anymore. People have even gotten married in this cave.
This shot shows how thick and lush the ferns grow out of the rocks around the cave. This is the other side of the cave where we're looking into the depths of the cave. The vines grow high in the rocks, where we see the roots coming straight down looking for the ground to nourish these plants.
We're standing in front of the cave, and this cave is 50 feet wide, 30 feet deep, and 15 feet high.
This group of musicians came to entertain us.
And the entertainers from the grotto got on the boat and came back with us all the way down to the bottom where we started from. And from the boat here, we went to our next stop, which is the luau, which you'll see coming up very, very shortly.
In this theater in the ground, we are being entertained by the hula dancers who are dancing while we are eating our meal. When the ends, it is going to tell the story of where and why these people left home, came to the Isle of Hawaii.
These people in their homeland, somewhere in the South Pacific near Tahiti, were very happy, very joyous, as you can see, dancing, laughing, until things started to break down. Things are starting to break down. The land is not as fertile as it was. It is producing less food, and the people are starting to get hungry, and they started to get very, very restless. Now that the food is dwindling, these young people are getting very restless, and they're starting to fight amongst each other. So something had to be done, and you'll see what happens next.
The chief of the tribe is talking with his daughter, telling her that they had to leave her and sail off to find another fertile land. He's taking her husband along with his crew, and she is rebelling about having to stay behind. She is in despair, and a spirit is sent to her to give hope and courage that the men will succeed and will come back for her and for the others.
Boarded their boat, and the men are getting ready to sail off. Not knowing where they're going, if there's any land out there or not, but they're sailing off into the unknown and see what they can find. After spending many and many days and maybe months out in the ocean, the men are getting worn out and are really feeling pretty dejected. They're not knowing if there's anything out there, and the food is starting to get kind of scarce, not knowing when they're gonna if ever they're gonna reach land. And the chief gives them some words of encouragement, and the men are ready to give it another try.
The holy man in their group spots something in the sky that he points out to the chief. It is a bird, and where there is a bird, there is land nearby. The men set sail. The spirit of wind and waves helps them onward toward the land.
The chief spots land, and he gets the men to grab their oars and let's go full blast for the land. There he is. He sees it, and they have arrived. And sure enough, they landed, and everybody is happy.
Majestic mountains and lush valleys.
And no luau is complete without the traditional fire dance. And man, this guy is good. After the luau, there was only one more thing left to do before we go home, and that was to take a sunset dinner cruise. And here we are we're just about ready to get onto the boat.
As you see, people are comfortably settled, getting ready to go on their trip.
We're all aboard now and we're just leaving the harbor and we're moving out.
We're setting off in the opposite direction because of high winds and heavy surf. We will not be able to go to the Nepali coast along the northern shore.
Yep, primarily because most of the people on the board are not sailors. And if we went into the real rough water, half of us would be chumming overboard. This is a sister ship to what we're on. It's a 59-foot catamaran with a sail and a diesel engine if needed, and this also has an inside cabin. This is another boat that's out there with us. It's exactly the same as what we are on, except it's a different company. We're starting to set sail.
This sail now, as you see, is fully employed, and there will be several shots of different types of sails. This is the inside dining room with its bar and dining tables.
These are the dining tables. They're really quite small, but if you squeeze together, you can manage very nicely, and we did. We're now sailing up the coast, and this is seeing what the coastline looks like.
The southern coastline has a very interesting variation of rock, lava formations, and bougainvillea flowers.
This coastline here is lava floor. That's what you're seeing. It's not rock, it's lava.
You see some very large fields of densely growing bougainvillea, and there will be more coming up. The jungle growth on this is very distinctive. The dark area here is heavy lava flow. And here's your blue sky with a partial rainbow following the rain.
This is one of the many, many resorts which are along the coast. This is the beginning of the sunset, and believe me, we had a very, very extravagant sunset that night, as you shall see coming up. Wasn't that a great dinner?
That certainly was, and especially those jumbo prawns.
Oh yes, that were out of this world. And you know what? We're going to get another treat. Just look at that sunset behind you over here.
Oh my goodness, this is one in a million.
Yes, it is, and it's only going to get better as the evening goes on.
That's what I understand.
Okay. But you know, Pat, we've done an awful lot this week. Is there anything we didn't do?
I can't think of anything we haven't done, and it seems like we were just busy all the time.
Yes, we were. But you know, unfortunately, every good thing has got to come to an end. And tomorrow we go home.
Well, that's true, and I'm not ready to go home yet.
Well, but you have to.
Well, dear. Oh, goodness sakes. I'm not.
You know, you hear that song in the background? It's entitled, It's Time to Say Goodbye. So, why don't you say goodbye, Pat?
Goodbye, Pat.
Yeah.